course, Kardama Muni had 9 daughters, and who were their descendants. So we were going to discuss, and slightly it is related to that also today. The incident that happened today is all related there also. So I don't know how much time we got. What I was thinking was because I wanted to cover this topic completely, and from other weeks we can discuss about the pastimes of Shivaji and Sati, but because the incident is such that Krishna maybe wanted different way to do the program today. So what we're going to do, we're just going to briefly discuss from Bhagavad Gita today, and next week, and we'll do little bit bhajan before prasadam, and next week we'll continue with the Bhagavad Katha from the topics where we left it. So that way we have enough time and we don't have to wait too much also, since you also have your plans to go different places. So can you please pass me that Bhagavad Gita? We could have done bhajan completely, but religion without philosophy is sentiment. So therefore little philosophy has to be there. So that is Krishna's opinion, not my opinion. Okay. I prefer bhajan anyway. Okay.
Do you have verse in mind or?
No, I don't have. You want anything?
8.5 or 6.
8.5, let's see. Okay. 8.5 and 6. This is the chapter 8. The title is Attaining the Supreme. And the verse text 6 and 7. So, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyaja jante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kvanteya sada sad bhava bhavita. Okay. So this sloka is related. Actually, I wrote down in my note also for tomorrow, next week topics also, but it was coincident. So this is very important verse actually. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Whatever states person thinks of, yam yam vapi smaram means to remember. Right? Tyaja jante kalevaram, in that stage, accordingly. Tam tam eveti kvanteya sadadara. So that person attains that particular mode, so that particular abode. So Krishna is saying to Arjuna that whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. This is like when a person prepares or plans, thinks what you want. Okay? You want to become something or you want to get something, then what you have to do is you have to advance plan for certain things, correct? To achieve that. So this is ultimate achievement basically. This is the ultimate goal of human form of life. Okay. So in order to prepare yourself, like students prepare yourself based on the desire what you want to become. Yeah. Engineer, pilot, businessman, doctor, whatsoever. You plan that in the mind. You fix that one subject in your mind that okay, this should be my goal of this life, and you go accordingly. And all the preps that follows with the goal, your goal, that leads to the direction accordingly, that assists you to the direction for you to achieve the goal, correct? So similarly in devotional service it's the same thing. In devotional service, one has to also prepare from the very beginning of the life. Kaumaram acharat pragyo dharmam bhagavataliya. Kaumara is the stage, boyhood stage, basically when you are like 5 years. That is called Kaumara leva in Sanskrit. So one has to practice the process of devotional service from the very beginning of your life. Otherwise, it is just like a rod. If the rod is normal temperature, if you try to bend it, the result is it breaks. Correct? But if you heat that, make a completely red hot, and you try to twist it and bend it, you can twist and make any design you want. Correct? Similarly, the Kaumara stage is such a valuable life that whichever way you twist around, whichever way you want to, just like it's a very important role for the families. If family are God conscious, if family are proper human beings without demoniac mentality, through their daily activities in their life, they can make their children or their generation godliness. In other words, at least proper human beings. Nowadays, we hardly find proper human beings also, because the civilization is animal civilization. Today's civilization is basically animal civilization. So it's very rare to get proper human beings. What is human beings? Eating, sleeping, mating and defending does not make one a proper human being. That even a stool-eater dog in the street also does that, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So if you are doing same thing after achieving this human form of life, I'm sorry to say that you are not doing really a great job. So Krishna is encouraging that you have to prepare yourself accordingly. Whatever you want, if you want to be a successful man. Okay? So let's say what the Acharya says on the purport. Okay? The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of his life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental stage. This is the point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaj Bharat, although a great personality, thought of the deer at the end of his life. And so in his next life he was transformed into the body of a deer. Although a deer, he remembered his past activities. He had to accept that animal body, of course. One's thought during the course of one's life accumulates the influence. One's thought at the moment of that, so this life creates one's next life. If one presents life, one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of God, Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to transfer to the transcendental nature of God, Krishna. If one is transcendentally observed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, through the process of chanting the Mahamantra, as we have just recently chanted, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the best process for the successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. And the 7th verse, it's a small one, so I'll just read that since he requested both. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanus marayuddhacha mayar pita mano buddhir mame vais sasya samsaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duties of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind intelligent fixed on me, you will attain me without a doubt. purport. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagement. One can continue them and at the same time think of God, Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from the material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Hare Krishna or by chanting God's name, one will be transferred into this supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. So this is Krishna speaking to Arjuna in the midst of the battlefield. What could be the worst situation than being in the battlefield? You are about to fight and there are trillions and billions of people about to give up their lives. And now Arjuna is confused here whether I should really fight here or just go to the forest and become a mendicant, live like a mendicant. Krishna says, for a Kshatriya, person like you, you are a military class of person. Your duty is to give protection to the society, not to become a hypocrite, a pretender, put a robes, some chandan on the forehead, some kind of paint, and become a sadhu, a yogi. Nowadays we find a lot of yogis, correct? Especially if we go to India, every corner of India, holy places, you find a sadhu. Some people don't even have a dress. Some people have just a kopi, piece of cloth, one piece of cloth in the whole body. But are they saintly? That's the great question. That's the biggest thing. Not because rubbing, putting your body covered with the ashes or different marks of paint or putting different dresses makes you a yogi. A real yogi is he who, as Krishna says, he who thinks of me. God is saying, he who thinks of me, he who makes me the center of life, whose goal is me. That is a real yogi. Yogi nam api sarvesam. At the end of 5th chapter, last verse, he says, Yogi nam api sarvesam. Out of all the yogis, so-called yogis, that yogi is great. Majgate dantar atmana, who is always thinking of God within his heart. How? Sarda bhanbhajate yomam, with love and devotion, samay yukta tamam. That is very rare also. We see a lot of devotees from the different countries, they go to Vrindavan and think because Vrindavan is the most, it's not only holy place, but it is the place of God. It is the home of God. It's not even counted as a holy place. It's beyond that. It's the house of God. So when they come to the holy place, they see all kinds of sadhus are there, and they try to take shelter of them. But they realize, or they don't realize, if you are not really a serious God-conscious person, then you won't realize, because God, yathamam prapadante tamstu taiva bhajamyam. He rewards you according to your surrenders, according to what you want, what you want to be. If you want to become if you are attached to materialistic things, if you are attached to a material sense enjoyment, material sense gratification, then he will arrange such type of guru. You will get a guru definitely. There are so many kinds of gurus, but you will get such kind of bogus cheater guru also. Smoking ganja, lying on the street, without daily having 3 times coffee, the sadhu can't leave. Such type of ignorant sadhu will not lead you to the abode of God. You cannot reach to the Krishna Loka. You cannot go to the heavenly planet. Okay? So heaven is actually counted in the Western countries as the ultimate. Even though in the Vedic scriptures it gives the definition of different planets and universe, the ultimate, when we say heaven in English word, we think that is the ultimate place. So that ultimate place is the